Hey guys, good morning, it's Tony, and I wanted to do a continuation of the video that I released yesterday of, why I'm scared of the stock market, why I'm scared of the crypto market. And a lot of people were asking me like, hey, why are you posting that, certain cryptos are up when you said you were scared of the stock market, or, well, not stock, sorry, the crypto market specifically. And I mean, if you watch the video, I did say that crypto in general does have one last push to the upside before I think it could go down. And I'm not saying it will, but I'll show you guys why, right? And I try to make this as easy as possible to understand for everybody, just to see what a drop can actually look like on Bitcoin after something happens, right? So if you guys can see here, every single instance of a bear market for crypto for the last 3 years or so. I mean, I could definitely go back, but I just went back for 3 years to make this as super easy to understand as possible, right? So the green line is the start of a bear market, right? A bear trigger for my reverse MACD, and the red vertical line is the end of that bear market and the start of the bull run, right? So you guys can see we have two full instances of this happening, right? The start of the bear cycle, the first one was back here, February 1st, 2018, and the end was March 19th, March 1st of 2019, right? So the start and the end. Same thing for the second cycle. The start of the bear cycle was September 1st, 2019, and the end of that was May 1st, 2020, and that's when you saw that huge push on the upside for crypto. These white lines in the middle, right? These white vertical lines are actually the very first instance that the weekly turned bearish while being in a bear monthly cycle, right? A bear trend. So again, first instance right here, February 1st, 2020, and actually the first one was back here, May 1st, or the month of May 2018, and this vertical line, this next one is February 1st of 2020. So these both instances are the very first time the weekly chart turned bearish while in a bear market. Again, what just happened? Ever since May 1st, 2021, we've been in that bear trend. We've been in that bear cycle, right? So if we go into the actual weekly, we can see a little bit more in-depth information of what happened, right? So we actually had the start right here. This is the actual start of the monthly, right? It's actually back here, but we'll go with a little bit, it's not perfect, right? I should probably move that to the left, but the actual bear cycle started back here, December 2017, when you see that full drop, right? But what happens after the very first time the weekly goes bearish, right? It starts up here. You actually went from, highs of what, 8,500, and you dropped about 30% on that first weekly trigger, right? Again, the start of the bear cycle, which is actually back here, and the first instance that the weekly goes bearish, you drop $6,400 on Bitcoin, which is about 60%. So first time 30%, second time 60%. And what's happening again right now, right? The start of the bear cycle is back here, from back late February, early March, right? That's when we actually started dropping. On the monthly, that the trigger came in March, right? And it's right here, and then we started dropping. What looks like it's gonna happen right now, right? Look at down here at the reverse MACD. The Stochh is already going to the top, right? So it looks like it might be creating tops in the Stochh, but it does look like the reverse MACD might actually create a bear trigger sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks, because you guys see this momentum on the downside. The bullish momentum is actually starting to weaken, right? That's why these like dark blood red candles are showing up, right? They're not like bright red, they're like blood red, right? The maroon ones, these are actually the ones that look like, that are showing you, hey, there's weak bullish momentum right now. And that's basically what's going on right here. So this, in fact, if we actually go bearish on the weekly, it would be in fact the very first time that we go bearish on a weekly chart when the monthly is on a bearish cycle. Keep in mind, we're we're not in a bullish cycle right now. We are in a bearish cycle right now. That's exactly what happened back here. That's exactly what happened back here when we saw those drops of 30% and then 60%. I'm not saying that the same thing is going to happen, but you know, we've seen it play out relatively well in that manner, right? So I can definitely see us dropping back down to like, you know, 3,200 or something around this level, right? Something around this previous range if we close bearish on the weekly and it actually doesn't move to the upside, right? So I don't know if it's going to happen or not. We need to see what happens on the weekly, because I can definitely see something like that happening in the next, you know, 2 to 3 weeks, right? The weekly closes bearish. It's the first instance of, you know, crypto closing bear, or specifically BTC closing bear on a monthly bear cycle. And, you know, what if the same thing happens that happens back here, right? That's the reason why I'm scared of the crypto market, because every single instance that we've closed a bearish week on the weekly chart, we start trailing down 30%. Second time was 60%. So, you know, we do go down, you know, 30% from that bear trigger. You know, you can expect lows again of like somewhere in the 30,000 to 32 range, right? I don't know the exact math of what the 50% or what the 30% and 60% of these would be, right? But if you drop, you know, from 46, you drop $23,000, that should give you something like 23,000, which is a lot lower than before. But yeah, I'm just saying, just keep an eye out. Crypto is definitely, right now, it's definitely moving in the upward direction, but it has weakening momentum on the weekly chart, and that's the only thing that's actually really concerning to me. Apart from that, on the daily, you know, it actually just, if it closes in 11 hours Bitcoin on the bullish side, then I told you guys in the last video, I still think there's one last hard push on crypto in general, as you guys saw with Cardano yesterday, and I think right now it's at like $2.50. But Ethereum and Bitcoin more than likely will be closing today on a bullish day. So especially with it being overbought like this, I think we can definitely see a run up to the high side. And I told you guys for Bitcoin, I still think we're going to 50K on Bitcoin. After 50K, it really just depends on that weekly close, right? If we do keep seeing weakening momentum on the weekly chart, there's a strong chance that after that bear trigger gets pulled, that we actually go all the way back down and maybe you lose 30 to 60%, right? I'm not saying it can. I mean, I'm not saying it will, I'm saying it can. It's definitely a big possibility, just because it's happened every single time for the last 3 to 4 years in crypto, right? But everything is looking bullish right now, just looking at the charts on the daily. So look at the daily, again, closing bullish in the next 11 and a half hours on Ethereum, but it's still trading around this range, right? You still got to break above this. I do think it's going to break above this. I think it's going to go to 35, possibly run up to $4,000 again on Ethereum, maybe. I think it's a possibility. I don't know if it will happen, but I do think $3,500 is going to be a hit sometime by the end of this weekend. So maybe by Monday, you might have already seen a 3,500 Ethereum. I do think that, you know, there's going to be a strong push towards the upside for Ethereum. And that's kind of it, really. That's why I was worried about, you know, the crypto market in general, just because, you know, the monthly is still bearish, right? Technically, we're still in a bearish cycle on the monthly chart. The weekly is looking like it's losing bullish momentum, and you know, there's obvious statistical reasons why we could see a drop, right? Every single instance of the weekly, you know, closing bear, you see a 30 to 60% drop, and that's just how it is. I can do more if you guys want, like go back here and go all the way to the first time it got created, but you know, I don't want to go back that far just because, you know, I felt it would be too much and stuff. But again, it's really going by statistics. If it's happened every single time before in Bitcoin history, why would this time be different, right? So it's really just more of keep an eye out Let's see where momentum keeps going, whether to the upside or to the low side. And then after, you know, that trigger on the bear weekly, if it gets created, then it's really time to worry, because we need to watch momentum, and we need to see how big these pushes are to the downside. Because if Bitcoin and Ethereum start pushing hard to the downside while in that bear trigger for the weekly, then I can definitely see, you know, Bitcoin dropping back to that 33K range, trading sideways, possibly going lower than that. I'll see you guys later.